Welcome to Fuck the Generational Wealth Gap podcast. I'm your host, Elise Alexander, your go-to fam when it comes to creating a wealthy life and getting rid of all the mental baggage that comes with codependency and perfectionism. It is not an easy trip, but you better bet your ass it's worth it and you are worthy of it. From unlearning limiting beliefs that kept you stuck in business and life to surrendered manifestation billionaire mindset. I am so excited today to chat because we are going to talk about the last set of the fear series, which is fear of success. And you guys, don't I freaking know it, because I have dealt with this for so many years. It is something that I have deeply, deeply fought against and honestly didn't even believe that I had. So we're going to start with a quote, which is, fear of success is far more dangerous than fear of failure because the subconscious mind works to prevent which we fear. People may fear success because of low self-esteem and feeling of not deserving it, because it will increase what others expect of them. Fear of success shows up as anxiety, indecision, avoidance, procrastination, or acceptance of mediocrity. How hard did that just hit? Because reading it again, I was like, oh, fuck. That was so me. And in many parts of my life, I still notice the same things showing up. Here's another quote that we're also going to start with. Our deepest fear is not what we, hang on. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that we are most afraid of. This is something I've been talking with every single person I know this week, because I know that I'm more afraid of what I'm capable of, my potential, than I am of failing, of doing something wrong. And the last quote that we're going to talk about is procrastination is the fear of success. People procrastinate because they are afraid of the success that they know will result if they move ahead now. Because success is heavy. It carries responsibility with it. It is much easier to procrastinate and live on the someday I'll philosophy. Who else is going to raise their hand with me right now and say, you know what? Yeah, like fear of success has totally been something that I have manifested, that I have brought to me because I was afraid, that maybe someone would take something away from me, because I was afraid that, if I created something, then what? Like, then I had a standard. So what we're going to cover today is that we must know what motivates us, you guys. You must know, because probably what you believe you're motivated by, you're not. It's why we push things off. It's why we procrastinate. It's why we disassociate, because you're not actually motivated by the thing you think you're motivated by. You're motivated by something else. So you have to get truly key and clarity inside of you in what is the intention? What around it are you not paying attention to? And yeah, what are you avoiding? Because the things you're avoiding in business and life, they're exactly what you need to take a look at in order to keep moving forward. The next thing we're going to talk about is, why is fear of success cause so much resistance? Because it does, even if you want to say it doesn't. What are the signs of this? Where do we get this from, this fear of success? Because we are naturally born abundance makers when we are young, when we are kids, when we are babies. Something else comes in the way to change that, to instill a different belief. You didn't naturally believe that growing up, even as a kid. Why limiting beliefs are so powerful, and how do we overcome this fear of success? How do we keep moving forward so that we can create a business, so that we can become entrepreneurs, so that we can truly be the best potential of who we are, so that we can make money and create a difference at the same time, which is what I know that you're here to do, because you know you're meant for more. So let's start with the definition of what I believe fear of success is. The definition is that we are concerned that when we achieve something new, we will be incapable of sustaining it, or we may suffer because of it. This hits me super deep, you guys, because I had this belief for a long time that when I received something of money, of value, and then it was taken away from me, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I would have not even rather had that thing in the first place. But what we don't realize is that's still pushing away abundance. It's still saying like, no, we don't want it. And when you say that, it doesn't match you saying like, okay, I'm ready to receive. Okay, I'm ready for the abundance. Okay, I'm ready for all of the amazing things that are going to happen in my life. They don't happen because you're not allowing yourself to receive. And you guys, I know this to be true because I'm going to be super honest. When my parents sold their original house that I grew up in, I got really upset. And I was like, I would have not rather had this house in general. Why is it that we had something so beautiful and now it's being taken away? I have another example of when my car got repossessed. And this is a super intimate memory for me, you guys. This still hits a little bit of a chord because I didn't pay for my car. My parents paid for my car, or my uncle, or someone paid for my car, and it wasn't me. And this feeling when they went to come get it, of feeling that pain and like I was going to die, it felt like I would have never wanted that thing in the first place. Like I wasn't grateful for the time that I had that car. Like it didn't do anything for me. When it changed my life, having a car gave me the opportunity to be independent. It gave me the opportunity to recognize who I was without anyone else. It gave me freedom. But I was so angry that I couldn't see any of that. And so I created this belief of like, oh, you know what? I'd rather not have anything nice. I'd rather not have things, because then it could be taken away, because then someone could want it or take it. But that's also not giving yourself enough credit of, would you fight for it? Would you know that someone else couldn't take that from you? But these are the beliefs that we create when we're younger, when something hard happens, and we then don't want to go through the hard situation again. One of the biggest things for me was that, what was I motivated by? I thought that I was motivated by fear. I thought I was motivated by this idea that I could do more. But in reality, I'm actually motivated by comfortability. I'm actually motivated by safety, because I would rather be comfortable and safe than anything else. Why? Because I didn't feel comfortable and safe growing up. So now this concept of needing to feel comfortable and safe is actually the thing that drives me. It's actually the thing that pushes me. But when you are motivated to be comfortable and safe, you don't want to be uncomfortable. You don't want to push outside of your comfort zone to do something that maybe you haven't ordinarily done. And if you're not an entrepreneur, or if you're stepping into this space, you got to do things that are uncomfortable. You have to figure out what your gifts are. You have to take a look at the things you haven't wanted to take a look at. Because it doesn't matter how many courses or how many coaches or how many anything that you have. If you're not moving the needle, there's a reason. And it's not the strategy. It's not. So you have to find what you're motivated by. For me, I did things like the Enneagram, which really, really pushed me and helped me to see, what was I motivated by? What was I really motivated by? And why did I not want to lie to myself anymore about what I was actually motivated by? So you have to come to terms with that. You have to be honest with yourself and say, you know what? Okay, I don't want to lie to myself anymore. I want clarity. I want to stop shoving things under the rug, because it's easier to shove things under the rug. I used to shove things. I still sometimes shove things under the rug. We're not perfect. But the key here is clarity. It's being willing to see it. That's the first step. Next, why fear of success causes resistance. So we've kind of talked about this a little bit, but my biggest thing in fear of success was that I couldn't say no to my family. I didn't know how to say, you know what? I never saw you pick you first, so I could never pick me. And that's blame. That's not like taking responsibility. That's blame. And because I never saw that, I never allowed myself to be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to put me first, because my dad put himself first, but my mom did not. And because I am a woman, I associated with the female energy and the female ability of what we're supposed to do rather than what men are supposed to do. So because I couldn't say no, I was always giving from an empty cup. I never had a full cup to be able to give to them. So you know what? When my grandparents got sick and things went out the window, I remember sitting there saying to myself, wow, I can't help them. I have no financial adequacy to support them. And I have no way to be able to support them in any way because I haven't been supporting myself. All I could give was time. We spent 9 months together, my brother, his fiance, and I. We spent 9 months together living with them, unpacking their stuff, going through 70 years of their life. And guess what? They don't remember their first names. So in doing so and in understanding so that I could never say no to my family, I actually shoved all of us into a deeper hole. Because in the future, I couldn't help them if I didn't put me first. But I felt so much like if I told them no, or if I didn't do what they needed, then I was showing them that I was ungrateful, that I would be showing them that I was disrespecting them. And over my dead body, was I going to disrespect them for all of what they had done for me? Because I felt that deep, deep, oh God, like it's like this feeling of wanting to support and not being able to, you start to hate yourself. And over your dead body, would you rather share with them, hey, you know what? Like, I don't know if I can help you until I help me, because then it is that feeling of being like disrespectful and ungrateful. And to release that, oh my God, I felt like I was going through the mud. I felt like I was in the ground. Like if I said to them, you know what? No, I can't do this for you right now, then it would be like the biggest slap in the face. And I never wanted them to feel that way. So you can't help them the way you are now. You can't. You can't help anyone the way you are now. Why? Because you need more support. You need abundance. You need these things. Like we don't need money, but we choose to use money to do the things we want to do, to support ourselves, to support our life on this world, to support businesses, to support the vision of what you want to do and how you want to help the world, how you want to give medicine to the world. But you can't do any of that or support your family later in life or make sure that they can be at home with you instead of in a home if you don't support yourself right now. So I used to be worried that all of my things, physical things, clothes, my bed, like everything was going to be taken away. Because if I had something, then someone could take it. But if I didn't have anything, then no one could take it. So what are the signs of fear of success? Whoo! Procrastination, avoidance, inability to make a decision, disassociation, and not wanting to take a look at what is really wrong. And not being honest with yourself either. Because if you're afraid of someone to take something, if you're afraid of the standard to change, if you're afraid that you can't sustain it, then you'll never move forward. Because you know what? Some things aren't meant to sustain. But you can do it. You can sustain. But you have to believe in yourself. You have to know that you're going to keep going, that you have to have faith in yourself, that you have to have self-esteem, that you have to have confidence in order to know your vision is worthy. You are worthy of an amazing, successful business. You are worthy of an incredible relationship in life. You are worthy of the vision, or else it wouldn't already be in here. It wouldn't already be up in your mind. It wouldn't be. You aren't given anything that you can't create. You just don't feel like you're capable of it. So those are the signs. Self-sabotage. All these things, you guys, that we already do, and yet we're always like, why? Why do we do that? What is it about that? Like, why do I keep doing that? I used to self-sabotage the fuck out of myself. I used to procrastinate the fuck out of myself until I realized I am worthy. I am worthy of making mistakes. I am worthy of doing this. I am worthy of sustaining the legacy of myself, of my family, and of my generation, and for the next generations to come. So where do we get this from? I told you in the beginning that we are born natural manifestors, natural ability to create abundance. And yet, somewhere down the line, 3 or 4 years old, instead of believing, oh my gosh, when you go to the bank, they just give you money and you can go buy whatever you want. Someone says to you, like, oh, like, what do you want for your birthday? And you're like, oh, I'd love a pony. And someone says, like, how dare you believe that you want a pony? You think that we're just rich and have all this money and blah, 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 blah. And you start to like have this different belief created that you aren't worthy of those things, and that money isn't easy to create, that money is hard, that working is hard, that all of these things become super difficult, and these beliefs that you hold on to and that you pull from other people when originally you didn't feel that way. So they come from our family, they come from people who are around us growing up, they come from our teachers, they come from our siblings, they come from anyone at a young age who impacted you, even if you don't even realize that they impacted you. There are many memories that came up for me today when recording this episode that I was like, oh my God, I now understand why I feel this way, when I didn't even realize until today. You see, you guys, like, you can do the work and you can still go back into the work and be like, wow, I didn't even realize, I didn't even know, because it happens like that. Why are limiting beliefs so powerful? Because they literally stop you in your tracks. Because they literally don't allow you to move forward in the needle. Because they force you to have regrets. Because limiting beliefs are so strong that you would rather die than prove them wrong, different, whatever it is. Limiting beliefs are so strong inside of you that you would rather disassociate or do something like self-sabotage than take a look at, oh, okay, you know what? Is this belief wrong? Because you've been believing it your whole life. So then when you take a look at it and you're like, oh my God, this belief has been wrong my whole life. It's like you have so much blame and so much shame and so much guilt that you'd rather believe that it was still true, even when you know it's not. How crazy is that? Because that would be admitting that maybe the last like couple years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you've been doing the wrong thing. But what's worse? Acknowledging that you've been doing the wrong thing for 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, or waiting another 5, 10, 15, 20 until you decide that then you acknowledge it's not working and you have to shift. What's worse, you guys? Because for me, I was mad, I was mad. I didn't want to admit that I felt like I had failed for so many years. But that's the thing. I didn't fail. I recognized. I was able to shift it. Even though it was upsetting, I still acknowledged that if I didn't do it now, I would still have to do it in the future. So why not do it now and accept yourself? Accept all of it, the ugly parts, the good parts, the parts that you don't want to show anyone else, the parts that you feel like, oh my God, if I shared this with someone, they would be like, I hate you, or you're ugly, or whatever it is that you're worried to hear. People will accept you if you accept yourself. And even I am saying this to myself because I know that I hold attachment sometimes to my ugly parts and to my ugliness, that it's so ugly that I don't think anyone's going to accept it. But it's not anyone else accepting it's the problem. It's me not accepting it that's the problem. The last thing is how to overcome fear of success. Now I realize that because I've had things and because they've been taken away and it caused such a deadly pain, that I had this belief that it was better not to have. But better not to have also means not being able to give. It also means not being able to receive. It also means not being able to change the world. It's not okay with me. We get to change the world. We get to create a better for tomorrow, for us, for our generation, for our next generation, because we can, because we're capable, because it gets to happen. I'm going to tell you guys a story of people who were getting ready to buy a plot of land that they really believed, right, had gold. And so everyone told them, no, this land doesn't have gold. You're not going to be able to strike gold. I don't care what you say. And they decided to buy the land anyway. And guess what? It took them years and years and years and years. And after like 4 years, of looking for gold continually every day, they quit. And guess what? They sold the land, and someone else still had a belief that there was gold there. And guess what? Within like a month, they hit gold. And I tell you this story because we quit so fast sometimes. And I'm not saying fast, 4 years is not fast, but you have to have faith. If you believe something, then you go until, not waiting, not waiting for someone else to give it to you, not waiting for someone else to say, oh my God, like here's this perfect life, here you go, because it's never going to happen. But also, when we don't allow ourselves to hold the faith, to acknowledge that we had this belief for a reason, that it's here for a reason, we quit right before we succeed most of the time. So if you don't quit, you're gonna succeed. So keep going. Keep going in this belief of entrepreneurship. Keep going in this belief that you're meant for more. Keep going in this memory of this vision that you have for your life. But stop waiting for someone else to give it to you, and stop acting like if you can't sustain it, it's not worth it. That's you self-sabotaging yourself. That's you saying you're not enough. That's not anyone else saying it. And I used to think that if I said it, then no one else had to. But that's the thing. That's you cutting off your own projection of your potential, not anyone else doing it. When I realized that I was the one treating myself the same way that the bullies used to treat me, the same way that I felt like my parents used to treat me, when I was doing it without any of them, I realized, fuck me. I'm still doing it without them. I don't need this anymore. It's not serving me anymore. So I'll tell you, if it's not serving you anymore, release it. These are the things in business that stop us. Fear of success, because you're afraid that you can't sustain it, so you won't try at all. You get to try. You get to go even further than try. You get to do aligned action. Because yes, I believe in manifestation, and yes, I believe in things coming to you. But I also believe in doing 20% aligned action, which is putting yourself in the uncomfortable, paying money, doing the uncomfortable thing and saying, okay, I'm here. Now what? But if you don't take any action, if you're waiting for everything to happen for you, if you're waiting for someone to give it to you, if you're waiting for something to be perfect, it's never going to be perfect. There's never going to be like the perfect business idea that comes and happens and everything does for you. You have to create. There has to be a balance of masculine and feminine energy. You have to create, and you also have to flow. So our exit question today is, what would you regret not trying or doing in your business on your deathbed? Do you want to live with regrets? I don't. But I had to acknowledge that if I didn't take the steps now, if I didn't move past the fear of success now in trying the things I was afraid of, then I would never be able to sustain anything, so it wouldn't matter. So I realized, okay, pick an idea. Have faith in yourself. Build confidence in yourself. Acknowledge who you are. Love yourself first before anyone else does. And that is a place that you can create from. Plus the 20% aligned action. And that is how you get over the fear of success. And surrounding yourself with other people who are also doing it, because it makes the difference. Because you may not feel like doing it. I don't feel like doing it 90% of the time. But you have to in order to push through it. And I don't mean like push as in push the rock uphill, but pushing through your own fears of uncomfortability. Take a moment, take a breath, love yourself. Acknowledge that you just gave yourself the understanding that you needed to know you're meant for more, and to remind yourself that you get to be doing the work because you know what it's like to not be doing the work. I need these reminders a lot of the time myself as well. So that is all I have for you today. I hope you have a wonderful, incredible week. it is so interesting because I also had these conversations with many people this week, and in acknowledging others also feel this way, that we don't want to disrespect our parents and that we don't want to do something if we can't sustain it. And we cried together because I get it. I get it. It hurts. But it hurts more to regret. And our parents know that, and we don't. So I have compassion and I have understanding. And I get to, so that I can serve my next generation and so that I can help my previous generation. If any of this hit for you today, I really want you to leave a comment below. I would love for you to share maybe your experience of fear of success, what you have maybe used to push past it, as well as what you're still struggling with, because I know that it's not easy. And if you're looking for more tips, more understanding, more connection on manifestation, on money mindset, on these pushing past codependency issues, I want you to follow me at Burning Pure on Instagram. And I would also love for you to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, because it really does make the difference, you guys, between how many people that we can reach and the difference that we can make and the opportunity that we can give other people to have the same awareness that we just created for ourselves. Because there's so many of us in the dark. We're awake in 2023, but guess what? We're fucking ignorant. I used to be spiritually ignorant as well. And we don't get to be ignorant. We get to be awake and aware. So with that, I will leave you. And you are worthy of an incredible, successful business. Know that, and know that you're on the right path. I love you. I'll see you soon.